Happy Thursday, Bear Creek. Usually on Thursdays, I like to take some time to sit down and make a rehearsal plan for Thursday evening choir practice at Bear Creek. However, that's not happening tonight. Bear Creek's choir, or really any choir for that matter, choir, band, orchestra, any group of people come together to make music, isn't happening tonight or for the foreseeable future. And that includes congregational singing at Bear Creek. So, in an effort to keep us singing and keep us connected through song, I just wanted to share a little bit of a story of a hymn with you all. This is the hymn, some of you may know it, Shall We Gather at the River. If you happen to have a United Methodist hymnal handy, it is hymn number 723. And if you don't have it handy, you can go online to www.hymnary.com. They did not pay me to plug it in here. It's just a friendly resource. Anyways, you go to hymnary.com and you can find the United Methodist hymnal and anything that is public domain. You can find text. You can play MIDI file hymn tunes and just a general overview of hymns. But anyways, that's not why this video is actually here. Did not mean to do a plug for Hymnary. Anyways, great resource. Back to the focus. So this hymn, Shall We Gather at the River, kind of, I feel, in a way, is rather appropriate for our time. This question of, shall we gather? Shall we gather now? Shall we gather tomorrow? Shall we gather next week? We don't really know. We don't know how everything is going to play out. We can only know what best practices are for this current moment. But what we do know is that, yes, we will gather again. And that's exactly what this hymn states. The hymn was written in a day, actually less than that, a few hours, on one hot afternoon in Brooklyn by the pastor Robert Lowry. In a hot July afternoon in 1864. He was laying down in the parlor, as one does, getting away from the sweltering heat, when suddenly, inspired by revelation, he just started seeing a vivid display of the end times. And the image in his mind focused heavily upon the river that is flowing. And if you want to read it specifically, you can go to Revelation chapter 22, verses 1 through 2. Those are the verses which inspired this hymn. And from that text, he then went to his organ that he had in his place there in Brooklyn and wrote a tune. So this is one of the rare cases of a hymn where the tune and the text was written by the same person. So that's a little fun fact. But like I said, the whole gist of this text, it's, aside from eschatological visions and gathering together at the end time and relations to baptism and so many other things you could pull from it. Just for this little vlog, what I find comforting and helpful is just this, is the ability to ask the question, shall we gather? And the ability to be in uncertainty in the moment, but knowing that ultimately, yes, we shall gather, we will make music together again as a congregation, as a choir, as a band, and I encourage all of you to keep making music. And if you are making any music while you are in self-quarantine, I would love to hear the music you are making, as with the rest of the congregation. So if you want to take any videos of you singing a song or playing piano, or I know someone who decided to take up flute during the quarantine. They've never played it before, but they had a flute on hand, as all people do, and they bought a book for beginners, and they're taking 30 minutes a day to teach themselves flute. So if you're teaching yourself flute or ukulele or mandolin is a very hot instrument right now, I encourage you to take a video and to share it with myself or Pastor Brooke, or throw it up on the Bear Creek Facebook page. Because even though we can't gather as a community on Sunday mornings to sing together, we can still make music and we can still share that music with others. And so, just to leave off today, in case you don't know this hymn, Shall We Gather at the River, here's just the first verse and chorus. And so, in closing, shall we gather? Yes, someday, eventually. Shall we gather at the river, where bright angel feet have trod, with its crystal tide forever flowing by the throne of God? Yes, we'll gather at the river, the beautiful river. Gather with the saints by the river that flows by the throne of God. Happy Thursday, Bear Creek. Keep singing and stay safe, stay healthy, stay musical.